Hello everybody, Image here, and I'm going to be casting a game from Group E of the MSL's round of 32. I'm not going to cast the whole round, or the whole group rather. This is Game 2. It is Stork versus Movie, and these are two of my favorite Protoss players. Duking it out on Fighting Spirit, we have Movie spawning in purple in the 11 o'clock position, and that leaves Stork in teal at the 1 o'clock. There's Stork now, looking kind of uncomfortable, and Movie looking really very comfortable, kind of like a stone-faced killer, as per usual. Movie just looks like a dangerous guy, kind of like Iris, someone you would not want to run afoul of in the parking lot outside of the esports stadium. And let's see, no really early probes being sent out, so we're not going to see any cutesy rushes, and both of these players are ones that can make those kind of cheesy strategies work. Movie has done some pretty ballsy rushing recently. You can check out some of his games in the OSL for examples of that. And Stork is just one of those Protoss players who is always capable of mixing it up and generating exciting play, whether he's going to play standard or not. And let's see what he opts for, although at this early point in the game it's just pylons and gateways in the base. So it's looking like it's going to be standard openings, but standard openings in Protoss versus Protoss doesn't necessarily mean a standard mid-game, because there are all kinds of wild options that we might see. We might see things like proxy robotics facilities. Both players scouting out the middle here and seeing the opposing probes now know exactly where the other person's base is. So they're both going to have a scout in for a good long while, with neither player really having the units to do anything about that. So ideal scouting for both players here, pretty much. They're going to get a real eye full of what's going on in each other's base. And that includes, for Movie, seeing that Stork has gone for a really quick cybernetics core, and Stork is going to see that Movie has gone for a second pylon first. So that's our first build order deviation, and there's another one. Manor pylon from Movie. He's going to trap one probe in that gap between the mineral patches and the pylon, so that's going to be annoying. There's an anti-manor pylon from Stork. He doesn't want to see that happen again. Naturally, he's going to have to expend some of his time and possibly some probes or units to just killing that pylon. That Movie did not cancel. Oftentimes you'll see people cancel the manor pylon because it saves them 75 minerals to do it, and Movie doesn't seem to be concerned about saving those minerals. He's got a second manor pylon coming up, and this is just going to be a really annoying distraction for Stork to have to deal with. And Movie should have his zealot heading over toward Stork's base now. There it is. So Movie's going to want to take out a couple of probes to compound this economic harassment that he's been doing. And if he gets, while there's one probe down, and if he gets many more than that, there's another, and there's a third. I don't know if one of those was Movie's scout. It was a little bit hard to see. It was all a bit of a low resolution cluster screw there. So at least two probes killed for Movie, maybe three, and that's some pretty strong early economy harassment. There's Dragoon Range researching for Stork now, and on the other side of the map, the core and range also going for Movie, who's also had whatever that is spotted, and that's a robotics facility. So now Movie's going standard, and Stork has a little bit of an advantage because of his scouting here. Although he's not 100%, in an advantageous position. It's a bit of a gamble here. Stork, having scouted that robotics facility at that pretty standard early timing, is probably going to add a robotics facility of his own and then go robotics support bay first. Meanwhile, Movie, since he doesn't have a scout going now, he's going to have to go Observatory first because, for all he knows, Stork can be making Dark Templar. Why it's a gamble for Stork is because Movie could be going for a Dark Templar drop, but I believe that the timing with which Stork scouted that might rule that out. I think it might have been a little bit out of place to see that at that time. I think there would have probably been the Citadel going up first, and then followed shortly after by the robotics facility if it was going to be a DT drop timing. If I'm mistaken about that, someone can leave a comment to correct me, but I'm reasonably sure that that's the state of the timing. Range still going for Stork. I thought that would have been finished by now as well. And it looks like Movie is setting up to expand, and Stork is setting up to put up some pressure on Movie with these 4 Dragoons and a Zealot that are moving out. Now, Stork has Movie slightly outnumbered for the moment. Movie is short 1 Dragoon, and so 2 things will be needed to defend this for Movie, and one he already has, which is the shorter supply route, so his Dragoons have less far to walk. But he is still down that 1 Dragoon for the moment, and so the other thing he's going to need is some pretty precise micro, and that was not it. That Dragoon getting hung up on that Nexus is going to be killed pretty quickly, and that is going to give Stork a lot more firepower. He's going to chase Movie's forces up the ramp and concentrate his fire on that Nexus, and Movie is going to be forced to cancel that, and that is really painful for him. The support bay, meanwhile, is up for Movie. Sorry, not for Movie, for Stork. And a Reaver is going to follow to assist Stork in this push if he decides to go that route. The other thing he can, of course, use that Reaver for is for some mineral line harassment. And this has just opened up a lot of positions for Stork. Stork's in a really domineering position right now. Meanwhile, inside of Movie's base, he's adding some gateways. Looks like he's adding a support bay of his own. And there's the observatory going up for Stork. And a probe going out. Looks like it is going to set up at that natural expansion, though it's not going to plant down the Nexus yet. I think that Stork, for now, with those 8 Dragoons kind of in a big arc around the ramp out of Movie's base, I think that Stork is going to commit a few more resources to containing Movie for now. And just continue building units, and as his 1 base economy continues to pick up, he'll just build the Nexus as soon as he can afford it without sacrificing unit production. I think that the choice that Stork is making here is basically to just keep piling on the pressure a little bit more, because he'll definitely be able to expand sooner. Movie is going to have to break out of his own base before he can expand at that natural, whereas Stork is going to have a pretty easy time of just expanding as soon as he has 400 minerals to spare, which is not going to take all that much longer. And yeah, Stork now has a shuttle and a Reaver to help keep Movie inside of his base. And Movie might lose this Observer too if he's not... Oh, that is fortunate for Movie. Movie's able to just save that Observer to fight another day. And Movie trying to bust out with some Zealots and Dragoons and a shuttle and a Reaver of his own, but it looks like Stork has him outnumbered because he committed to building those units. He's also got a little bit of a flank with that 1 Dragoon behind the minerals, but that's a big blow for Movie. He's just lost his shuttle and Reaver, and now Stork has the superior army by far outside of that natural, so Stork is going to delay that natural for Movie for a really long time.